Hey guys, welcome to episode 3. If you haven't listened to episodes 1 and 2, go back and listen to them before you jump on episode 3. Enjoy.
Of knowing, because I had to admit to myself, you know nothing. This is like you're just starting from scratch, figure out. And that was how my approach was. Mello's, approach was different, and I think she benefited from the balance. But in terms of the him and I think the minute I just realized Mello's not going to be Nene and do things as I do it, I was able to just kind of, I'll do my own thing. I will still research loads. And then the minute I finish researching or finish reading something, I forget the entire thing. I was like, yeah, so what's the point? But somehow, I think there must be some sort of cellular memory to help me do what I need to. But I will read and I'll forget everything. But Mello just carries on. And I think in terms of once I stopped expecting that, I was fine, to be honest, but I think the early days, it was
a challenge.
It was difficult, and also when it comes to discipline as well, because you have a child, sometimes I remember this is, Mel would be like, oh no, well, this is not right, or blah, blah, blah. No, we'll take a tablet, your usual punishment, you take a tablet. And then I'm like, okay, he'll take the tablet. I was like, but does she know why you're taking it? Does she understand why? The reason I would ask that was because in the early, especially, she'll do the same thing 20 minutes after. And the same thing. And it's like, you're watching this pattern. And I said, she can't want this. So we have to have a way of that. And I think then we got to actually almost understanding ourselves. It's like, if we're punishing her, it has to be very clear what she's being sanctioned for. You're taking the tablet for this long because this is what you've done, so that it's clear. She might say yes, no, but as that clarity had to be there for her. And much earlier we were talking about boundaries, and that was actually quite important. Understand what you're being sanctioned for. Understand what boundaries you play within. And also, even at the same time, there will be some days like, we talked about where she's had a really murderous days. You just decide not to sweat the small things. And there is also the second thing, in addition, it's like that approach to kind of discipline, and then having that common ground to say, okay, no, let's be very clear about how we approach this. The second thing, and now it's escaped my mind, so it was discipline and
boundaries. So let me I think from what if I understand correctly, you're saying that both of you had to, because I think the thing is you both want the same results, but you're wired differently. So you had to do your own thing, knowing that, and he had to allow him to do his own thing, Melo to do his own thing, knowing that both of you, you still wanted the same. But in terms of your relationship with your marriage, your relationship with each other, did you guys come together and say, you know what? Was there a time that you guys were struggling? The marriage, not the parenting?
Yeah, because the burnout is real.
Yes, that's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah,
is real. There's no two ways about that. And so half the time, but the thing is that I would always be able to talk to Mello, and I found it tended to be more of a one-way traffic.
With the talking,
and also with the going. Even I would always go to Mello, and I would, talk to him. And say, this is where blah, blah, blah. But then again, that's also because I did more of the everyday. Yeah, I think especially when you were working or going to Portsmouth, I was the one who was present, doing the everyday, being emotionally tapped out, and also out of my depth, because I was still figuring out.
And plus, you still had other children.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So
the age gap helps with that. I have to be honest. The age gap helped with that. So it allowed me to just focus, to do a lot of focusing. And then there was also the guilt, where you feel, oh, is Kosi feeling neglected? And then, there'll be, I remember then, I would say to Mela, oh, why don't you go do something with him? or I'll go do, or you have Kami, and I'll go with Kosi. And so you then we were conscious, but no, the emotional. I think you working far away played a lot into it as well.
Like she said, I mean, we had to deal with it differently. You know, I had to be me, like you said, obviously, and then it came together at the end, if you get what I mean. Because for me, I didn't really play into, okay, she would tell me, I did this, you have to read this, you send me stuff. I'll say, okay, no, I'll do it, but I never did.
You never did, and I knew.
All this research you were doing, you're like, okay.
Thinking, okay, this is science. I'm with her day in, day out.
And you're coming to tell me
and
this
then
thing.
you're telling me this person that doesn't even know her. And then that this is how I'm supposed to treat her and everything. But then again, at the end of the day, I did learn a few things from what she was. She would be the one to learn, not from me reading those things, but from what she would tell
sharing,
me. You know, from the sharing. So I think for us, the communication really helped.
Absolutely.
It helped a lot, so much to kind of, okay, let's start doing it this way. Because sometimes for me, I'll be like, okay, no, I'll misunderstand and think, okay, she's faking it, and then maybe I'll rush to give that punishment, whereas I should have done it the way she said. Okay, no, this is why, because so you need to understand,
break it down.
And then I realized when I started doing it that way, it worked even better, even though I thought I was getting a result that the initial way, but this way was better. You know, so, and I think if I had started doing it her way, maybe it might have been a bit more difficult for us. That's the truth. Because I wouldn't have been satisfied. I would have been like, I would have had doubt in my head because I wasn't doing it my way.
You're going by what?
Exactly. So I had to do it my way. She had to do it her way. And then at the end, we kind of almost like, okay, let's compare notes.
I think the important thing is just communication. Because if you guys were not able to communicate, trust me, at some point,
it would have been
another issue.
And I was glad she would always come. Okay, let's talk about, let's communicate. Because for me, in my head, I was like, hey, it's all right. I wouldn't know because obviously, like she said, I wasn't the one. Most of it was her. And then like Kamsi is smart. She will have it like with her and frustrate her, like, and sometimes I'll come back and she'll be crying to me. But then when I see her, she's like, she's all smiley, and I wouldn't want to believe. You actually do this.
It could have.
So she's playing now, and then she know how she'll kind of gauge. And then she'll know, so it helped. We actually talked.
You're able to communicate.
And the fact is that, okay, because I know her well, and I would believe her over my daughter. Because I've known this person more.
Long before
you even came over. So this is the person I'll believe. And then tactically I'll be like, okay, know how to deal with it, because the truth is that sometimes she will misrepresent what really happened to you and tell you no. Whereas no, that's not how it happened exactly.
Children are children.
Yes.
What about you, Kenny? What would you say? What has raising Kobe done for your relationship or for your marriage? It's still a marriage. For your marriage, what would you say? Because I know that it can go, so people can split because of that, because the pressure and everything you guys have to deal with. What would you say it's done for your marriage?
Okay, so before I agree with you, no sugarcoating it. I will struggle to find some more difficult pressure on a marriage. There's a reason if you look at the stats of people who are dealing with special needs kids. In terms of why, if you look at that compared to, like I said, I'll struggle to find any more difficult pressure on that. So there's not like oh, this is kosher, this is cool, this works, and because we're good and because we've loved each other since primary school or anything.
Yeah.
It is definitely not that. But as Linda Miller also covered, and he also mentioned around that communication is important, but letting difference be. What I mean difference is the parties are different. The energies we bring are different. You know, we look at how we're tackling things externally and forget that the person brings a different energy. The most important thing is the energy you bring and the things you do, but we pay attention on what is seen, because I think, so one party will always feel they're doing more. The one feeling they're doing more will think, why am I the one doing more? And so that will always come to play. One party will feel, I am more concerned about this because of how I am reacting. But because another person is not reacting, what you're doing or concerned is it is no barometer for love or whatever you're doing or care. You know, because I can go, oh, I'm following and read it, doesn't mean you care more than I do. So these things happen, and human nature, imagine if you're somewhere with someone and you appear to be the one doing all the work and the person is not. Eventually you'll be like,
person is chilling out.
What's all this? In fact, you will vex. You will vex. So those things, you know, happen without seeing that there's a bigger play here. In terms of it, let people bring their differences. What you will understand, you will understand. But it now doesn't help now when you look at the other pressures and stuff in a marriage to go on, and then you put this is like a nuclear weapon on top of other stuff. If you don't, in fact, I think the harder thing is to stay. People find it's actually the easier move is to split
and deal with it
from the differences. But it's not accepting that everyone is different. What they bring to it is different. Forget what you're seeing on the outside. Forget that you think they did 2 things and you did 10 things. You see, that's one of the biggest things. Forget all that. Forget that I think I care more. Forget that they are not showing this because they're not acting the way I want to act, and just realize, let the energies be. Dude, each party is learning at different waves and coming. Each of it is doing something to the kid. At the end of the day, if that is the biological parent, there's already something that is intangible that you cannot see, but in our rationalization, we cannot all put it on together. And there's nothing, but you can see why it then overwhelms, because this goes hand in hand with depression. So if you find a couple dealing with special needs kids, the prevalence of depression is significantly higher. In that context, some level or another, they have to deal with it. You might now be in context or social environments where you're not even meant to acknowledge that I'm dealing with some kind of depression. I don't want outside to be known that I'm having this kind of things. So people are going deeper and deeper into that hole, and then the relationship suffers. But the moment where you realize the difference is accepted, and the moment you start understanding also that you're not looking for a cure, you're just going through the process and it is evolving, and you learn over time to manage your energy and imposing some of your will in terms of how you see it all playing out and stepping back. The relationship grows from that. But it is not without strain. It first goes through the strain, and then from the strain, it gets tightened when you're able to now see through all these things and through the process. So, in summary, it's gone stronger, but not without the boundaries being tested. But for the boundaries to be tested, both parties have to choose to remain to be able to see.
You have to be there now to know whether oh my God, that's a lot.
There's one more thing I forgot to add, that in terms of, or even from the relationship perspective, also it's okay to remember just self-help. You know, some of this, I remember Kenny would recommend some books as well to me that I remember the Let Them theory and just some of the stuff I would read to just help me, because I had to be okay myself and not project my anxiety and getting ahead of myself on Mello when he was also trying to deal with it at the same time. So it's like, okay, no, you sort of do what it takes to get you okay, and then we're still in this. And anything that worked well for me, I would say to him, oh, this is what it said, or this is how. And then, it was always like, okay, this is, because I'm in this with you. It's like, if anything, if I want to pepper you, I'll run away. And then you have to deal with this yourself. But because there's that, it's like, no, we're
here together.
We are, So just help. Yeah, looking for things to just
to complement that, if there's one of the key takeaways around understanding the special beings, is to understand that this is about energy. They're highly sensitive, and they pick up things that typically we can pick up. They're wired differently, but it means from an awareness perspective, they're actually closer to reality than most people are. So they can pick up your emotion before you speak. They can see. I like to use this example to tell people they see emotion. Like you can come in, they can see your color a lot of the time. So whereas you are waiting for other people, so they tuned onto a level one cannot imagine. And one of the best things we can do is to manage our energy levels down. And it means to always try and get ourselves centered. Different things play. Each time you center yourself, let the mind play and just come back, etc., you create a better environment for them to, because then your energy is not interfering with everything else they're dealing with. So they feel it as a safer, they feel that space as a safer. They will go through their ebbs and flows. Remember, you don't stop it like a wave. It has to go through, and it finishes and it comes down and they feel better. Don't add to it. So we try not to add to it with our own energy by trying to just understand, stay calm, and the more we do that, the more we create a better environment for them to deal with what they have to deal with.
That's a beautiful way to even explain it.
I also think in terms of relationship, what Kenny touched on, understanding the differences is very important. Because I remember in the early days when Nene would come and say, I'm the one doing this, I'm the one doing that. And then it would make me feel like, okay, so you think I'm not doing anything. Or you think I don't feel, or you think I don't, and also because I'm not too talkative, I wouldn't say anything really at first. But then later because of the communication, I will now tell her, say, look, this is how it makes me feel. And then when you now start pointing out, okay, actually, this is what I do. Then the person will be like, okay, actually, that's true. Actually.
That measuring.
And then, but then sometimes it could also be misinterpreted or you can get it wrong when you start saying, then you'll be like, okay, you start comparing, oh well, I did this or whatever. But then because we communicated in a way whereas, okay, I didn't like start going into it as in, okay, you're comparing, let's start comparing. I already know, like I told us, I already know you take on much, like you do this, you do that, but it doesn't take away the fact that I also do this, and we're in this together. She's our child after all.
I think being in it together, I think that's got to be the main thing.
It is.
Because if people accept that, we die here, as our people say, then no one's going anywhere. So let's manage it. Okay.
And you're stronger together.
So rounding up, what would you say to any young parents? Because you guys are now Kenny,
middle
Kobe is going to be 19, so it was you're now whatever. You, Kamsi is going to be 13.
14.
No, she's going to be 14 at the end of the year.
So what would you say to like a new parent that, who's just, let's just assume you meet a new parent whose child has just been diagnosed. What nuggets would you give them?
I think one of the things that we talked about earlier was about grace, just forgiving yourself.
Absolutely.
Just knowing that this is going to be a learning experience for you, and also not to get ahead of yourself. Don't think, what's going to happen in 4 months' time, in 2 years' time, where are they going to be? Just stay in the now, be present, and just work through each day. Because as much as there are challenges, there's immense joy. I wouldn't have Kamsi any other way. I don't know a child I don't know Kamsi in a way that's different. So this is the perfect.
This is your Kamsi.
Yes, this is mine. And they come with joy. And sometimes, one of the questions you asked, do you tell people? No, sometimes you like to see things play out because they're actually ridiculously funny. They're ridiculously self-aware. And then you even learn from them how, when Kenny said they would actually exit and figure out, don't worry too much about them. And it becomes, you actually learn a lot from them. So it's like, be open to so many things, that it's a to and fro, it's a learning journey for both the child and the parent. Forgive yourself when you get things wrong, and then you just move on to the next thing, and then just don't get too far ahead of yourself.
Okay, so stay in the moment and just go through it. Mado, what would be
me, I think the most important thing is knowing that you're in it together, communicating, and not ever try to change the child. See it as a day-to-day occurrence. Try to understand what it is, because I think initially for me I refused to to accept. Accept it and then just follow it day by day. As for the relationship, is work together. That's the most important. Be patient, communicate, work together, because it will push you to the limit. It will push you to the limit, and like Kenny said, if you don't stay together, you won't work it out. You have to stay together
and figure it out.
It's easy. The easiest thing to do is to separate.
To bounce.
But then again, you have to realize if you separate, the child suffers even more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kenny, what about you? What would you say to any new parents trying to navigate raising a child on the spectrum?
I think Nene and Melo covered it nicely, but I'll give one maybe from a spiritual perspective, and then wrap up what I said is to when they say it's a blessing, it is a blessing. We expect blessings to be easy. So that's
and to come up wrapped nicely in pink ruffles.
We expect blessings to be easy. No. But if you pay attention, you will see the abundance and the blessing in it, in terms of just being present. Life is now in contact. Everything else is just plain in the mind. From my experience, in terms of what I've seen, they live in now. So if you're dealing with an autistic, it's not about yesterday and tomorrow. They're not bothered. They struggle with time, because time is what we play in. They're about now. Or fine, let's say if you're trying to say 10 minutes, 1 hour, these things, whatever, they start to struggle because you're bringing in concepts that are outside of what exists, which is now. So, and in now, you stay with them, mention about energy, keep it in, keep your energy as calm as you can, but it's just in terms of observing. And when I mean calm, is more like letting it be. When you have to put the boundary, but don't, only the ones that matter when it needs to be. It gives them safety, but not every other little boundary that affects how they are perceived. We haven't, it's when we want to impact on how they are perceived that it starts to have an overall impact, even in pressures on the family. How they are perceived is our problem. Most of the time.
They're going about their business. You're the one.
And when you look at it, and it's a deeper one when you look in, why is it our problem? It doesn't matter. When we think it matters, all that is happening is what we are thinking about it. Is what matters, not what people are thinking. So whatever people are thinking never matters. Is what you're thinking about what they're thinking, never what they're thinking. So we do that, and it affects the energy and the case, etc. around us. Step away from your thinking about what they're thinking. Let them be. Be in the now. Forgive yourself. And that's all you can do. And if you do something that you got wrong, forgive yourself and try and just do it different next time.
As with parenting anyway, we don't have a manual, even with children that don't have, additional needs. Oh my God, you guys have wrapped it up nicely. Because of my nephew, I've become so intrigued. I think I want to say intrigued, because I find children on the spectrum, is the word amazing. I don't even know what to say amazing.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's just so much.
Yeah.
There's so much. So any program I see now, I am watching it because it's like no two children or adults on the spectrum are the same. They're very different, and it's just like how their minds work is just fascinating. I think is the word I'm looking for. So I am going to continue to talk to parents.
Yeah.
And you guys have wrapped it up nicely. Is there anything else you want to say before we conclude our? I know you were stressed then about this recording.
Anxious.
Why were you anxious? Can you see?
Because I always think, I don't know. I'm so new to this.
What are you?
Yeah. So, but it was nice. It was just a conversation.
You guys are really educated.
Me, on the other hand, was expecting makeup.
Yeah, hair, makeup.
And hair.
It's proper
Hair and makeup, like the celebrity thing.
They're coming. They're stuck on the motorway. They're coming. Maybe the next time.
And
next
a trailer
time
for you.
Something like that.
Next time we'll have that, but no, you guys, thank you so much for taking out time, sharing openly, because that's also another thing. A lot of our people don't share. Like I know people that have children on this, and it's fine if you don't want to share. But I'm just thinking, how do people learn and know that they're not alone if people are not sharing?
And it's harder work to not share.
It's harder work to not share.
Holding and
because even that's another thing I always ask people: how do you get your release? Because if you're constantly caring for that child, how do you get your own release? So thank you guys for sharing. I appreciate you. I am grateful, and your children will be as they were born to be.
Exactly.
We can't script it for them.
Sure.
Yes.
And thank you for bringing awareness.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I'll bring all the glam team next time. Next time.
Yes.
Okay, guys.
And the
thank
name
you.
Tag.
Name tag. Which name tag for you? With your name? Okay.
Okay,
your
this
trailer.
is my trailer.
With everything.
I
promise you. Next time. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Yes. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have a child that's on the spectrum, please share. Let us know what your journey has been. And if you want us to record, let me know. Guys, we're talked out. Let me go have another drink and wind down. So thank you so much. Until next time, it's peace and love.